Just a quick hello to those I haven't seen in quite some time. This is an early video, but pause a moment. I say early, it is 10 a.m. Usually, y'all are listening to recordings that I do at 2 a.m. rather than 10, and I may do one again tonight. Things are heating up. I just wanted to get a digital diary entry for myself, if nothing else. I use this platform for that very reason. People are starting to awaken, and as we know, those that are starting to awaken inside of themselves, in other words, accepting the real truth, no matter how hard it is for you to swallow, and the mess that we're in because we have been asleep, no fault of our own, because we have big hearts and trusted those that we entrusted. Listen to Popeye or whoever this is right now on Truth Frequency. Listen to this.
Saying that in jest.
I'm well, no. Look, if first of all, you wouldn't like it wouldn't go as far as people having nukes in their backyard and stuff, because you would realize that, wow, maybe this is getting a little out of control.
That's a pretty over the top idea to ever have invented them to begin with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Einstein said, like, it's a hell of a way to boil water. Like, dude, like, you know what? Okay, we see how destructive they are. We don't need to use that. That's just bad. Why do you think nations don't use them on each other, really? Because they realize that even if they nuke another nation, it's probably going to come back and fall out on them anyway. And
essentially nuking themselves.
Yeah. I mean, that's what those weapons are. I mean, talk about weapons of mass destruction. That's like weapons of mass idiocy right there. Nukes in general. But yeah, I do believe people should have access to equal weapons and stuff. And I'm all down with militias. My only concern with the Bundy Ranch thing is, like I said, I wonder, because look, even
if
though
they're trying to deliberately drive it to that.
Yeah, man, you know how they think. Like, they are smart. I mean, I'm not saying they're smarter than us, but like you said, by far these people are psychopathic morons to a certain degree, and not all of them are smart. Okay, they're not. They need some of them need handlers to help them tie their own shoes. Look at George W. Bush. The guy's a muppet. Okay, he really is. He needs his wife as his handler. That's what she is. Watch the interviews, you'll see.
Sure.
You'll see who the controller is in that family. Anyway, not all of them are intelligent, right? Not all of them are super smart, but I think that the ones that do the thinking ahead are intelligent enough that they could figure a way. Like, how could we get the militia out there? So they go out there.
They're trying to press buttons.
Yeah,
right.
They know they're going to get the militia out there, and then when that militia, not that they shouldn't, everybody should go, but everybody has to be on point.
But that's where it fails, because it exempts 2/3 of the food and beverage that's even sold in the state. So the vast majority of foods won't even be under the labeling requirements.
We asked Dana Bieber with the No on 92 Coalition.
Okay, that earlier I didn't get to tell you that we saw True Frequency Radio and listened to that. I was just dive bombing one of these others over here just to see. This is a group of radio talk show hosts, and let's just find one. Glenn Beck, we know what he's talking about. Herman Cain, hadn't heard from him in a while. Neil Larson. Let's listen to Neil Larson. I believe he's over in Atlanta. Let's see what's on Neil's mind this morning.
Hey, fantasy football fans, who doesn't love the excitement of picking your team? Well, get this. You can do that any week when you play in one-week fantasy football leagues at FanDuel.com. You play for real money, and winners get immediate cash
Gotta
payouts.
listen to the
Nothing beats the
advertisement.
excitement of living out a whole season of fantasy football in just 1 week. And right now, you can get up to $200 free. For every dollar you deposit, FanDuel will match it up to $200. Click the banner now, or go to FanDuel.com, click the radio microphone in the upper right corner, and use promo code 5050.
Here we go. Had a slight problem loading. Let's see if we can load it again. Get the Neil.
Still fresh on our minds.
Here we go.
And I know how the left tries to racialize absolutely everything. And I thought, okay, you know what? I don't know what percentage of the NFL is black, um, but there are plenty of white players in the NFL too, and so I don't know. I know that's probably coming. Why do they only target the black players in the NFL for beating their wives?
I guess we'll see. I mean, it seems like whoever's getting arrested, that's who's, making the headlines. So I guess that's just the last few arrests for whatever reason, all been African American. Meredith Vieira made some headlines. Of course, she was on The View, and she's what does she do now? She has her own show, I think. But she apparently was talking about this issue with Ray and Janae Rice, and
So you can see what's happening there on Neil Larson. Let's try another one. Let me pick one. East Central Illinois. Let's see what they've got to say. Don't want to do that. Do not want to do that. Let me try another one real quick. Making a point this morning. I don't want to go too long. Let me just get back over to everything has crashed. You find that a lot. I was listening to the early morning. This is C-SPAN.
The minimalist counterinsurgency strategy
This is crazy, people. Crazy.
is sufficient to achieve his
I don't think we can get enough volume on this for y'all to hear it.
ISIL. I gave a speech at the American Enterprise Institute last week. I called for swift action, not the current go slow approach. For every week we wait, ISIL grows.
I'm not going to be able to get in where y'all can hear this, but this ISIL thing is a joke as well. I'm telling you, wake up. At least wake up to the point to get a hold of me and say, let me give you my take on it. Well, my take on it is this. We, the American people, have big hearts, and we want to help everyone. But way down deep inside, you cannot deny the fact that we know why we're there. We know that we are big pigs, fat pigs over here, and we're big consumers of everything that wiggles, including that petrol that you put in your car to keep you running down the road in your whatever you've got, to keep you nice and toasty when it's snowing outside and you're getting ready to go take to the slopes in your brand new outfits, going up there on your brand new four-wheelers. You got to put the petrol in there. A lot of your clothes are made out of petroleum products. The whole world's running on petroleum products, but we don't want to think about that, do we? And this is coming from ex-oilfield. What we think about is going over there and, yes, okay, I agree with you, we're going to help, but hey, in the back of your mind, you've got to know you're an accomplice, because you know you need that oil. So y'all go over there and help, okay? Be sure to remember us over here needing a little oil. But I don't want to be a part of any of that other stuff. Just go help, okay? Help those people that are in need. But once you help them, see if you can get them to let us have all of their oil, because we need it. That's what's going on, people. Wake up. Wake up to yourself and be real to yourself. See what's going on live over here. Live TV, let's check it out. Let's just see what they don't want to show us. See what they're playing there.
For the subcommittee on
this right here.
military personnel, for the House Armed Services Committee, a position that she's held since 1999. Ms. Wada served as the lead staff member for the subcommittee from 2007 to 2010 and briefly served as deputy staff.
I'm going to come back to that myself.
In 2011. In 1999, Ms. Wada.
I'm going to come back to that myself because this guy right here, you could go down on any Saturday night in the wrong section of town and find the drunkest person sitting at the bar with their shirt pulled out on one side and tucked in on the other and one shoe on, with broken glass rims, one missing, and do a better job than this cat right here, in my humble opinion. I just want to give y'all an idea of what's going on out there in my world this lovely morning. Let's see what George Norley had last night. Was off the wall good. Let me just show you this right now. It was actually 2 nights ago. No, this one was very good last night. I listened to it to the wee hours of the morning. Some things that you need to be aware of that they're working on as far as robotics, and this is real stuff that they're working on as we speak. Being able to, since we've mapped the human genome DNA structure, and we know how to build an artificial DNA structure, so they say, they're looking to merge and to have a hybrid humanoid type of a robot, but would have the, believe it or not, I see it'd be hard, but if they carried the consciousness with them, it would either have it's not going to be good. And this superhuman warrior can actually run 200 or 300 miles an hour, never run out of unless if you're solar powered, you're locked in with the battery pack. Run and then be as fresh as all get out and be able to take out a whole village themselves singularly. And they can home in on GPS devices of a single individual and go seek out that one individual, and without no matter what kind of conventional help would be given to that individual to try to save them, it would be OVER. That's where we're headed. But I am of the very strong contention of this is the answer lies. Let me just do this right here. The answer lies right here, people.
Rice, corn, and black.
The answer lies within our own minds. I had something banned, a little video I was going to put out this same theme last night, and you got to be careful. I have to watch because a lot of these music videos like this one here very well may ban me for reproducing it in a video. Let me see who it was that banned me last night. Chillax King. No, I don't think it was him. We'll try this, but someone banned me on the one I did last night. But I'm of the very firm opinion that it doesn't make any difference, people, what we think about. It doesn't make any difference what we think about. And if you analyze, or you just start looking at all the hundreds and thousands, literally thousands, and growing exponentially by the nanosecond of different possibilities, every single thought that you have has the potential to change the earth as we know it. And I'm not kidding you. Your thoughts, we gather our thoughts, in my humble opinion, from the same source. Consciousness source, the source itself. And that infinite source of possibilities empowers each individual thought equally. You draw on the same reserves. It's just how that thought is implemented. If you have a thought that looking at these videos right here, which I do, but if that particular thought, by looking at this still picture right here, sorry I turned the video off, I was trying to pause the video, but if you stare at this right here, baggage claim, and then you start a theme with the airplane over there to the left, that if you stand in front of this baggage claim sign, you will be teleported into that airplane, and it will take you to anywhere that you want to go in the future, and with a wonderful life. And you get enough people, and you tell that to one person, you get enough people that start believing in that, and before you know it, you've got a movement standing in front of baggage claim signs, because there's harmony of thought. That's the key. Harmony of thought. Singularity of thought. Any thought process that has harmonic balance, harmony of thought, is like a glitch in the matrix. This control matrix that we're dealing with right now, anytime there is an abundance of harmonic thought, continuous or ongoing, exponentially growing wave of energy, which is concentrated thought in harmony, anytime, it doesn't make any difference what it is, that causes disruption in their matrix of control that we live in. And believe it or not, we live in a matrix of control. We do. Period. End of discussion. So you start looking at all of these different ideas, start looking at all these different hundreds, if not thousands, of different religions out there. Hundreds, if not billions, of different ideas and spin-offs and fragments and new twists of new spirituality or religious theme. And if any of them starts gaining in harmonic wave, in other words, in harmony of singularity of thought, and rising in numbers, that whatever they're thinking about disrupts the control matrix. It doesn't make any difference what it is, standing in front of a baggage claim sign or waiting for the second coming of Jesus. Okay, let's just get it in there. Every single thing, when there's singularity of thought, harmony of thought, creating that energy of wave that goes across this matrix of control, that particular entity and those involved with it need to be nullified so that the matrix is operating smoothly. So as I hearken back to all these crazy things that we've talked about, that I've logged in here on this digital diary, it comes down to this. It doesn't matter. What they want so very much to have people doing is to be hung up in this right here. To be hung up in the, let me just go to the, let's go to this one. To be hung up in this drama right here of it's over, people. You better pay attention to this right here, and we had better, but not analyzing it from a position of an observer, coming from your strength of your wave of, even if it's the people standing in front of the baggage claim, that wave looks as this as an observer and really could care less because their wave is growing. What they want everyone to do is have fragmented wave of continuous harmonic thought. There's so many different things out there that they've got going on right now that it is totally impossible. Excuse me. I'm back. Since it is daytime, I have daytime stuff that goes on, which is another thing. Is it doesn't make any difference how much that we start to understand the process of ascension. I believe that in my heart, of all hearts, it has come down to this, is that understand that the power is in the prayer. Every single thought that you have, call that thought a prayer. It is. Be in continuous prayer, the book says. And I'm sure all the books say something like that because they understand the power, whether they realize it or not. What they're tapping into is as more people come to that thought process, they're increasing the strength of that energy wavelength, and it is causing movement and changing the dynamic in the whole shooting match as far as upright Homo sapiens receptors are concerned here on the blue planet. That is a fact. So all of those things out there, every single thought has that potential. And if we realize, if they were to see, if they were to have us to where we realize that, my goodness gracious, you mean to tell me that all that I have to do is just get some people to think about the same things that I think about, which is nice stuff like this over here. Oh God.
Technology is uniting the world. Game changers and mega projects. China and new horizons for cooperation.
That is absolutely wild. This is what happens in the morning. Look at this. It's wild. This is life. But to realize that when you find your quiet time, this is going to be a little loud. Feels so much better than this, does it not?
Yes, apparently to Congressman Hank Johnson. The only good thing helium is used for is birthday party balloons and comedians making high-pitched voices. But actually, helium is an essential resource for the advent of medical technology. In particular, an important component of cryogenics, MRI scanners,
what do we
and
have
magnets that make up the Hadron Collider. So to discuss what lies ahead for a helium-less planet, joined now by Redacted Tonight correspondent Sam Sachs. What's going on, man?
Hey, doom is what waits.
Oh no, it's horrible. I love how he's like, the injustice of comedians. How did we get to this point, Sam? I mean, I thought the U.S. had the largest supply of helium in the world, and that it was one of the most abundant resources in the universe.
Right. Well, we created this huge reserve, the National Helium Reserve, way back after World War II, when it was, I mean, helium is a pretty strategic resource. It's a very stable gas. You know, back in the day when we used to fly blimps as bombers, helium was important. So we created this helium reserve. We held this helium reserve. Fortunately, running this helium reserve ran a deficit. We went about $1.4 billion in debt. And since we have these austerity mongers in Congress that came in the 1990s, they passed this bill called the Helium Privatization Act, which basically forced the helium
This
reserve
must be live.
to begin selling off its helium to private suppliers in hopes of paying down this debt, and then it would eventually close the plant, and hopefully private suppliers would step in and be the main suppliers of helium to the world.
And then in 2013, the debt was paid off, right? I mean, what happened, and did other countries pick up the slack there?
Well, what happened was when the Helium Privatization Act forced the helium reserve to sell all this helium off, they sold it at a very cheap price to all these private suppliers. Of course, that's the sweetheart deal that came out.
Okay, they're talking helium over there. That's what they're thinking about. We'll have to get off into that a little later. Let's see what's going on here in the U.S. Oh, here's O. And it says ground troops will not join ISIS. Well, he's going to be out of office real soon. Think about that. Just put the dots together. He's saying he'll never put them over there, but goodness gracious, Lord have mercy. Wake up, people. Smell the roses. Apple's got to have a good little something to buy today. Keep the doctor away. Apple. Think about it. Oh, here's some cops. Now, this is something. These cops have been thinking about getting powerful and all this stuff, and they're frustrated. Oh, I wish they could be NSW. Or any special warfare, but they're in here carrying guns, and they can do whatever they want, and they can live out their dreams of what they think they missed out in the military. So now we got to contend with the way they're thinking. Goodness gracious! And here's the crazy thing about it. Here's the crazy thing to me: these people owe all of these folks, and everybody has got to have a reason that they're doing this stuff. At some point in their thinking process, they've got to have why they're doing it, because they must be seeking to find that one place that if all this crazy stuff that they're doing will bring them peace and a happy place. They have to be seeking that place that satisfies them, what they call peace. And beyond all the cutting heads off and everything else that goes on, the lying, the stealing, the cheating, they've got to be doing this for a reason, to try to achieve something that inside of them they think is utopic, and that's what they call peace. Hey, You don't have to go about it this way. Just choose the end game, the peace part first, and start living that. Cut out all this stuff. It's so simple, no one can do it. I wanted to throw all this in today, and because it is morning, and a lot of people do see or hear these things late at night, and I do still think like the way I'm thinking now, even during the day. And it's a good way to start your day off like this, to tell you the truth. Think about something nice, then go out and do it. In closing, I'll say this, call me crazy, but all these copyright infringements that you'll see, the people that have used snippets of YouTube or snippets of this, that, and the other, that they've put in these safeguards that's supposedly to help the artists, to protect them for their rightful worth that is due them from the efforts that they put forth in their music. It's not about protecting those people. In my belief system, I believe that it is keeping people controlling information. And folks like sometimes myself and other radio talk show hosts, Truth Frequency Radio, right now if they're monitoring how many times that they call it a copyright infringement, every time someone like myself or one of these other places play a snippet like this that's part of their little game that's in on it, even though they claim that they're there to help them, and people get points against them for running what's called copyright infringement content. And then when they get to a point to where they say, okay, then give us control to be able to turn off the ISPs of people who have more than a 5 or a 10 score on this copyright infringement deal, when it could have been just nothing more than a snippet and us talking about making the world better by meditating and listening to wonderful music. And so that is where I think they're going with their theme there, and so that they could come in at a later date and they could just turn off all those ISPs and they wouldn't have to deal with that information that's being disseminated out there, which is the truth. And the truth is they're trying to fragment our thought with fear, all types of emotion, to keep us from getting into some form of harmonic, balanced thought, creating a wavelength into their matrix that would cause a glitch, and that thus in turn we would start moving toward victory or freedom. Go out, have a great day, smile at a stranger to make you feel real good. This is Jedi One, aka Randy. God bless this country of America, the principles it's founded on. She shall rise again based on those principles, and God bless the blue planet. Jedi One. We down.